Yes, we are back. 2Gs in the pod, your mum's favourite duo, back in the studio again. What are you saying, Andy?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
I'm kind of annoyed right now, man. Things are fucking up in the studio. I don't care, man. Things are fucking up in the studio right now, and it's not our fault for once. So
Put it on air.
I'm gonna air them out right now anyway. So today we've got a great episode planned. We're going to be discussing misogyny in hip hop, and we're joined by should we do our drum roll thing? We're joined by Ella and Taylor from the Too Many Man Show. Hi guys.
Hey, you right?
So let's get into it. Do you guys want to tell us a bit about sort of Too Many Man and your show and stuff like that?
Yeah, cool. Okay, so I kind of came up with the idea of Too Many Man about a year ago. I've been like a music journalist for like 5 years. Since I was like 18, I just started off like going to festivals and writing about them, going to gigs and writing about them, and then got to a point where I was actually doing quite well at it, so that's alright. And I've been like massive hip hop fan for like years, like my life. And I was listening to BBK's Too Many Man, and I was walking down the street and I was just thinking, like, wouldn't it be sick if I just got like a team of girls together and like went into like, oh, this is obviously like the bit of the pipe dream that comes with this, but like went into like a massive office of like full of CEOs of like rich old white men and just played this song. We need some more girls in it.
Oh, yeah.
And then it kind of like came to be that I was like, actually I could use it to write about and talk about like women in hip hop, because it's actually sick, women in hip hop, but if you think about it, there's not enough representation. And it also kind of came about when I wrote an article about this MC called Blimes Brixton for Huck magazine, and she started an all-female hip-hop label in LA. So then I was thinking about it even more, and then I kind of wanted to do a radio show, and then I'm the kind of person that wants to do everything, so it kind of came about like that. But when I first had the idea, I spoke to Taylor, because Taylor's really into her old school stuff, and I was like, yo, I've got this idea, what do you think? And then we didn't really talk about it for about 6 months. Yeah, ages.
Quite a while.
And then all of a sudden I just messaged you like,
yeah, we're doing this. Like, yeah, because you just, I don't know, how did it come about? You was watching something. Every time I'm doing like a snap or something like that, everyone's always like, oh, Taylor's always into like the old school vibe. Constantly.
The one thing actually that made me go, Taylor needs to be right. So this is the story that I love. So I was watching Taylor's Snapchat, right, and she's got a little sister, and she was trying to show her little. She's not really into hip hop, is she?
She doesn't know about old school hip hop.
She into like her mumble rap.
She was like,
shit.
yeah, you know, like
Well,
teenagers.
how old is she?
Well, she's 16 this year,
Okay.
so at the time she was about 14 or so.
Okay.
And
Taylor's trying to get her into
NWA. And she's like,
Okay.
NBA?
NBA?
She thought
Did she watch the movie?
No. At the time, I think at the time when we was doing it, I don't think the movie was out.
Okay.
And so I was trying to teach her that, and then when she didn't know that, I was like, okay, well, we're gonna have to do a lesson each week on like old school hip hop, because my brother used to do that to me.
Oh, really?
When I was younger. So I was just like, we're gonna have to do this. The fact that you think I'm talking about a basketball team instead of like an actual hip hop group is insane.
No, but it was the one thing that made me like crack up and message you like, right, I'm starting this thing. You need to get involved. Was when it was like a snap of her, and it was like she didn't know what a pager was.
Oh yeah. Oh, because I was playing Biggie, and one of the lyrics that was in it was talking about a pager. She goes, a pager? What is that? And I was like, wow, okay, no, we need to get this sorted. This is insane that you guys don't know this kind of thing. Like, the kids need to know where your music's coming from now.
Yeah.
So we just started doing that, but it's just the same thing throughout my family. Like, even like to my mum she'll be skanking to drum and bass in the kitchen, and then you've got my dad who would be a mixer, and he used to spit back in the day, and like my brothers, my uncles and my dad all know how to mix, and like, so I've always been around it. Like, I had no choice.
That's cool, man.
So I was lucky enough to get to get that history behind music. So now it's just my job to try and get that for my little sister now, because I think I failed a little bit. I nearly failed it soon.
But yeah, basically, and then so we had this kind of going for a little while, and then it was actually when the Wireless lineup got released that I was just like, can I swear?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I was like on the radio, I didn't know if I could swear or not.
Nah, do you want? No one listens to this anyway.
I was like, for fuck's sake, like, what? There's 3 women on the. Okay, so look, like, the Wireless people actually chatted to me, and we're fingers crossed going to Wireless as Too Many Man.
That's live.
Nice.
Can we come?
But like, I was like, I wrote an article about it for Tomorrow magazine, and I was just like, look, we need to talk about Music's gender gap. This is ridiculous. Like, there's 3 women on like the whole lineup, and the thing that's even worse is the fact that it is like a predominantly like hip hop, R&B, grime, like no
Festival.
garage, because that's a whole other topic. Like based lineup, and I was like, okay, so women in music, that's one thing. Like, you know, if you look at the Grammys and like the disparity between women winning awards and shit. But in hip hop specifically, like if you think about like and grime and like rap, like a lot of the time it seems quite misogynist, and like it's a genre that refers to women as hoes and broads, and like literally objectifies them all the time. So the fact that women are coming in and actually taking up space in the genre is a form of activism in itself, and it needs to be recognised. And the fact that there's more women on lineups now, like there's actually there's a thing, campaign, that's the word I was looking for.
That's the word.
And like a campaign by Festival Republic to get like way more women on the lineups and stuff, which is great. But if you think about specifically hip hop and grime and like R&B, it's not the same, and that's why I really specifically wanted to like champion women in hip hop and like the female MC and stuff.
But I also want to just like focus on the fact that as well, like what you're saying, how in like music men can do like hoes, and I want women to be able to know that they can do that as well in music. Like, you don't have to not be out there and vulgar and everything like that and get the backlash on top of it. So,
yeah, because there's definitely a double standard if you think about it in that way. Like, and that's another thing that if you think about like the idea of like people talking about conscious MCs, and then like idea of like gangster rap, and a lot of the time people were like, oh, but like then women like take up the stage and they're talking about this. I'm like, yeah, well, why can't they? Like, it's the same thing. And then there are women doing conscious rap as well. It's just there's just not enough. They're just not publicised as much as men are. So it's just,
and recognition is a little bit low on that side.
Yeah. Anyway, that's that.
That's the story of Too Many Men.
Too Many Men.
That's our story.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it's International Women's Day on Thursday.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, we're dropping this on Thursday, so like you might be listening on into, you know, we're not rookies at this. We planned this, and
not your
I must have just come across you guys on Instagram, and I was like, you know what, they would be perfect to get on this to come and you know, champion female MCs and stuff like that. So
we've helped you collate a little list, right?
Yeah, you did. You got a list of topics. To be honest, I haven't had to do any work for this episode other than book the studio, and I didn't even get that right. But like legit, all I had to do was be like, yeah. So I emailed you. I was like, yeah, we want to do a collab episode, and then you were like, yeah, cool. Do you want us to give you the points? Do you want us to give you the songs? And I was like, you know what, that'd be great. Just give us everything. So yeah, the first thing was the talent of MCs. So on the email, you were like, talent of MCs, people wrongly assume there aren't that many conscious MCs, or females' talent just isn't as strong as a lot of men out there at the moment, but that's just not true. So do you gonna speak more on it?
Yeah, so like basically what I was just saying is that, okay, so that idea came from a conversation I was having with my mate, and we were talking about it, and he was like, oh, but there's just not as many women like who can spit as well as like some guys and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, well, they're just not given, there's just not as many. So, for example, if you think about like the amount of men that rap, like male rappers, right? Yeah. So, if you think about like all like if you think about like mumble rap, if you think about old school rap, if you think about conscious rap, think about anything like trap, anything. There's so many of them that out of like 100, you're gonna get quite a few good ones. Mm-hmm. Whereas there's such like lower representation and not as many women getting into the genre as a whole, just because like it like previously was quite exclusive. What's the word? I don't know what the word is. Like, you know what I'm trying to say. Yeah, like a boys' club. So, and also like if you think, like, side note, if you even think about like, you know, when Nicki Minaj came into the game, like she was kind of like taking over as the only woman, and then women feel like they have to compete against each other instead of
I was actually going to bring that up.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
So
It's happening again, though.
I was going to say, so you see the way Nicki Minaj kind of came up, and Lil Kim doesn't like Nicki Minaj because on her come up, she felt that Nicki Minaj was sort of using Lil Kim's formula for success, but not paying homage to Lil Kim, and instead being like, oh no, I'm here to take her spot kind of thing. So do you think it's, I guess my question is, do you think it's like, you see the way women are pitted against each other in that kind of sense, so there can only be one top female MC, whereas you could have like 4 or 5 guy MCs be like, oh yeah, I'm the best, and nobody says anything. Whereas if Nicki Minaj says, oh, I'm the best, these other rappers aren't like as good as me, then you always think, oh, she's speaking specifically to like Cardi B or Lil Kim or something like, or Remy Ma or something like that. But don't you think Lil Kim sort of used that on her come up? The fact that she's being pitted against someone, because then people, like, she came up sort of saying, yeah, I'm going to be the next big MC. So to do that, it's like she's using the fact that women are pitted against each other, but to her benefit.
Well, like,
that's what needs to change, though. That's the thing. Like, that's the mentality that's been put out there now. That if you challenge each other, then it's going to be good for you in the business and everything like that. When you look at
like
on the
men's
side, it's not happening.
No presses.
So I feel like it's not the greatest thing. I feel like with Nicki Minaj, it was a thing of she could have come across like that. But if it was picked up in a different way with a different attitude, like, like, you're not just talking about me, just in general, I think we should all be uplifting each other.
Yeah.
Then it would have been seen like a better way to go about it. But because it's been put out like that, and there's other situations like that as well, it's been classed as something norm now. It's normal for girls to just go against each other. It's normal for you to think it's okay to battle.
It's the same in any profession. I think like, if you take it completely out of hip hop, it's the same in like anything. Like women are pitted against each other as competition, and not see. And then not. The problem is that they're not usually not seen to compete with men.
Yeah,
so for example, if Nicki Minaj is up, she's like, oh, I'm better than all these other girl rappers. She's like, no one's comparing her to like the other. Like for example, if you even take Monster as a track, right? She's by far the best MC on that track, but no one's like. Sorry, Jay-Z's verse on that track is dead.
Whoa.
It's dead. I'm sorry, I really don't like it.
I mean, Nicki killed it, but let's Jay-Z's
is the worst.
Jay-Z's is the worst on the track.
The verse now.
There's a bit in it that I actually can't listen to. I'm just like,
it is the worst.
Oh yeah, I know what line you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm just like, no.
Yeah.
No.
But I would agree with your point, because I feel like competitiveness in rap has always been a thing.
Yeah.
So like even,
but it's good. It's been healthy though. Sometimes it's been like a healthy kind of like. It's
fine,
good. It makes you like better your game. It makes you want to step up your game. Like it's good. But at the same time, I feel like there's some negativity with how the competition's going. Like it's gone to a point where it can just be like it could be bringing down someone else's vibe completely.
It's the type of
and it's
competition.
unnecessary. It doesn't need to be like that. And that's what I'm saying. Where okay, cool, it's a negative thing that's happening. But we need to see that that's been put into society, and we need to change that. It needs to be changed.
Also, if we think about like competition-wise, if we think about the fact that Nicki Minaj has won like the BET Award for Best Female Rapper, what, like 7 years in a row?
She didn't win it last year. Remy won it.
No, Remy Ma won it. Remy Ma's also won it before. She won it before, and then Nicki Minaj won it, and then Remy Ma won it again. Don't get me wrong, big fan of Remy Ma, but like, there are so many other female rappers out there.
But having said that, which of them were touching Nicki though? Because it's not like Nicki won it and didn't deserve it in any of those years.
Not.
So like,
I mean, I have a problem with the award shows kind of like that
but it's
anyway,
not like I get like, I don't know. You say that because I feel like it's just like a mainstream kind of thing that's going on. Because for me, it wouldn't be like, that's like the sickest lyrics that she's had when I hear the song. It's not. It is.
Yeah. I wouldn't say lyrically. Nicki
she was. But then she transitioned to the like pop kind of thing. She can. Yeah, she can. She could bar. She can bar. She just doesn't.
When she did her whole freestyle over Biggie's beat, Warning. Then she was like, she was hitting points, and I was like, sick. Like she's gonna be so sick, and then now she's gone into mainstream. It's a little bit like. So I feel like that's part of the whole award-winning thing, is a part of that side as well, like the whole mainstream thing. There's so many other people that can be.
So if I take it back to your point right quick, when you were like, but who's even touching Nicki? And I'm like, because not a lot of female rappers have been given like
the shine that she has.
That she has. So she was like put forward as the girl.
Yeah.
And then like Remy Ma's been in the game for ages anyway, so
Yeah.
she's just released her new shit and it's really good.
Mm.
But there's so many other rappers that could come close if they were given the scope to do so, but they're just not in the public eye like at all. And
Yeah.
whereas like if you think about guys, they get just like built up like that half the
Yeah.
time.
That's what I was gonna say. Like based on your point, I feel like there seems to be more space for men because
Yeah.
like rap has always been competitive, and it's like all the rappers that you think of that are guys that are like at the top of the game, they're all saying I'm the best. Like all of these guys
Yeah.
can't
Mm.
compare to
Yeah.
me, but we don't like go, oh,
It's so deep.
Yeah.
that means there can only be one.
Yeah, should we get into the new Remy track, the one with
Yes.
Lil Kim, and then
That is
come back in?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So that was a Wake Me Up, Remy Ma and Lil Kim. We were having an interesting discussion off air about.
So
We continued the discussion about Nicki Minaj. To be honest, I was bringing up the fact that on Everyday Struggle, DJ Academics and Joe Budden sort of pissed Nicki Minaj off because they said that she was being hypocritical in complaining about the double standard in when it comes to girls in music, because she used that double standard to her advantage to come up when she was pitting herself against Lil Kim. And it's a similar thing that we're kind of seeing with how Atlantic is trying to pit Cardi B against Nicki Minaj. So yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
So we were just talking about this off air, but like, first off, we were talking about like the sense of like competition. We were saying like it's fine, like competition's fine. Like what we were saying before. I can't remember if this was off air or on air, but this bit. But we were talking about like how male rappers will go to something like, yeah, I'm going to be the best. I am the best, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason why women can't do that and like be in competition with one with each other. But the problem is that because if you only pit them against other women, then that's where the problem is. And then there's already this whole sense of like competition and like women having to be against each other in all forms of life. That's where the problems are. And we were saying this before as well. I was like, Wake Me Up is one of the only songs I've heard like recently that's been like the proper mainstream that's got a woman
And featuring a woman.
Like, and that's also part of the problem where like you'll have a track of like a male rapper and then maybe he'll feature like a woman on it, but there's only one woman.
Yeah.
So, and then maybe it's like a competition spot for each other, whereas you don't get that, like women don't feature women as much, and that's the problem.
Well, even like what that new song, well, is it new? Motorsport by
Yeah.
Even that controversy that happened between them with like Nicki Minaj being on it or Cardi B, and just like, and even like the media, oh, like she's gonna be better on it or this one's gonna be better, and it just builds up on.
It's true. You find yourself
like
comparing.
That's what, like you just find yourself like, oh, I do need to like
you
compete,
don't
but it's
compare
not a
them to
healthy
male rappers.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
If we compared everyone on
If
that
we,
track,
exactly.
then
If you just compared everyone,
I mean, they had the
on
two
it.
best
they
verses
did
on
have
it
the two
anyway.
best verses. Yeah. If we compared everyone,
I don't know what Quavo was doing on that one.
Oh gosh.
But to be honest, Quavo is actually the worst rapper in Migos.
Yeah.
When you think about it, he's like, but he's sick with the hooks, and like without him, the whole Migos
hooks,
thing
yeah.
just
That's,
falls
but that's
apart.
why they work as the
Yeah,
as
I
a
mean,
group,
they're
because,
one
like,
person.
you need
They're
to
one
have
person
good
divided
hooks
into
Yeah,
three
yeah,
and
yeah.
bodies.
good
Someone to do
bars.
something.
So like if everyone does one thing,
Yeah.
you're all right.
No, they're legit one person divided into three bodies.
I actually
Yeah,
thought
honestly,
when
yeah.
they first came out, I actually thought they were one person. And I realised they were three.
I
and I was
did.
like,
I thought there were two. I didn't know Takeoff existed. You know.
I thought there was two people. I thought there was only two people.
I thought it
And
was
then when I saw
Offset
like
and
a
Quavo.
whole group,
Yeah.
so who's that one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, it's just like, and I was like, no way, there's three people in this group.
I thought
Yeah.
Takeoff
Have
was
you
the
seen-
ad-lib
have you
guy.
seen
I thought they just had
that
a guy that comes over and does the
Yeah,
ad-libs.
yeah, just do a little bit here and there and then come back later.
oh my god.
Anyway, back to
women.
the topic. Yeah. I have a question.
Okay.
So, as fans of hip hop, and you say you really like old school hip hop as well.
I know. where you're
How
going.
do you feel when you hear misogynistic lyrics? Like, for example, old school Snoop Dogg, I love it, but some of the
Oh,
lyrics
God,
are
yeah.
just
like
mad.
the Chronic as well.
Like,
Listen to it and you're like,
Yeah, and I love the album, but I'm like, bro, man, really just said that. Like, so
Yeah.
what do you guys?
I don't have a problem with it if women are allowed to do it. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you have women that's talking about, like, there's an artist that's like, what does she do? What is her name? I can't remember her name, but her lyrics are like so bold. It's like ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I was just like, shit, like, how's she doing that and like getting away with it? And then I realised, like, no, like, if men are
Anyone
doing
can
it,
do
like,
it,
I
yeah.
feel like it's fine. Like, if men are going to do it, cool. But if women can
Yeah.
do it, then it should be perfectly fine. But if it's not going to be that, then it's not. But
There's
I am an old school hip hop lover, so I'm going to just love what comes out as it is already. Now I get it, but you have to also go with the times as well. Compared to like how many hip hop artists was back in the day from the 90s and 80s, compared to like now where you got more females and bringing them in and stuff like that.
So like, okay, so I agree to a large extent with what Taylor said. I also think like there's a lot. So for example, like when you listen to like NWA, for example, I love like there's some of it that you can just kind of leave because I'm like, look, this was released in like the late 80s, like it was different back then, and I can understand it I can let it go to a certain point where I'm like, cool. And then also like if you think about the rest of their lyrics, you kind of let it be, and I'm like, okay, cool. And the same with in some ways of like the Chronic and Snoop Dogg, but there are some, and you know, vulgarity is fine, but then there are some lyrics where I'm like, okay, like maybe not,
because sometimes
and then
it's
the thing I have
just
the biggest
vulgarity,
problem with
like,
is like if you think about like so I'm sorry, like I know you guys did a Jay-Z versus Eminem episode, and I actually listened to it.
what do you think?
Oh yeah, I liked it, but it was very difficult for me because I'm not like, I listened to Eminem loads when I was younger, but I wanted to choose Jay-Z, but I've had a bit of an issue with him.
Really?
Like,
okay,
so I have an issue with him before his verse in Drunk in Love with Beyonce. The one line that says "Eat the cake, anime," and I was just like, wow, you're seriously gonna just talk about domestic violence right now like it's not a problem? And she like stands on stage with him and like sings it with him, and I'm like,
yeah. Do you know
what I mean? And
I didn't
like,
even clock.
Okay, cool.
Right. And that song's been out for years. I didn't even clock.
Right, so I can't listen to it, and then like,
Daniel, if you want to jump on, just jump on. Always doing this.
Right, so that I've got like, so when I listened to that, I was like, fuck's sake. And then another thing. So, like, if you look at Kanye, for example, I feel like Kanye's got more misogynistic as the time's gone on, instead of, like,
he has.
less so.
But Kanye is so... I say it all the time, he's just lost in the sauce. It's the Kardashian curse, man.
I'm not going to go into that one.
He's not in a good place.
But he's
not.
not.
There's something about those the Kardashians that just mess up with
College dropout. We need to get Kanye back.
Exactly, but he's gotten... And there's some bits that I can let slide because it was the 80s or, like, early 90s. There's some shit that comes out now where I'm like... Vulgarity is fine, but there's a difference between being like, I don't know, like dangerously misogynistic and like vulgar.
Do you think it's like getting better? So the reason I asked that is like, so you see when Rick Ross had his verse on You Don't Even Know It or whatever it's called,
gosh,
and he said like, and then like he lost all his endorsements and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, rightfully so. Do you think that's a sign that, I mean, I know that was a few years ago, but do you think that's a sign that like hip hop as a genre is moving to becoming less misogynistic, or do you think it's still bad?
I think a bit of both. I think it's definitely moving forward. Like, I think the fact that there are more female rappers.
Can you imagine if someone did that track, that verse that he done in that track though? Because when I heard that one with Rick Ross, I was like, you okay? Like, you're right to say that. How are you going to... No, that's not cool. So I think we are moving towards... Yeah, with time, you're moving towards it being less that, because you're going to get more females coming out. You've got females that's not even caring that they're females and just want to be in the game.
Which they shouldn't.
So, exactly.
Like,
so
it shouldn't be an issue, but it is. That's the problem.
So I think we are moving towards it. Like, even now, having the Too Many Man show, like, we're moving towards it. But you're going to still get some. You're going to get some. It's a big world out here.
Because I don't know if we're moving forward, because like like the example I brought up with Rick Ross was a sign that, all right, hip hop is becoming less accepting of misogyny and more accepting of women. But then at the same time, all the mumble rappers that are coming up now, majority of them have got like cases with the domestic violence cases.
Yeah, no, that is a whole like...
And it's almost
example, like like if you take lyrics,
mumble rappers are not hip hop. I'm sorry.
This debate's taking a different turn now.
Into the category, I'm very like, if you're mumbling, you're not.
Okay, fine. So because I use mumble rap as like an umbrella term to mean like rap that lacks substance. So for example, someone like
Young Thug.
No, not Young Thug. Like somebody that's not actually mumbling, but we call him a mumble rapper. Like No, not Lil Pump. He's mumbling. Bruv, you take or XXXTentacion, he's not mumbling. You can hear what he's saying. He's actually rapping, but we put him under the mumble rap bracket because a lot of his music lacks substance. He's just coming. He's he fits that mold of the the Kodaks and the Takeshi 6ix9ines and all them guys, and
don't
all
even
of them
talk about that
guys.
Takeshi 6ix9ine.
6ix9ine. No, I'm sorry. It's not hip hop to me. So I'm not even going to class it as in because I see it. They've got all like those kind of people.
I don't understand how he
mumble
makes
rapping.
any money. Like he's got like, because I'm just like, wow, like
No, with the whole mumble, like you saying that they come under that umbrella and they've got like cases and stuff like that. They're not part of hip hop for me.
Because I can agree to an extent that like I can see why you say that they're not hip hop, but like I think they're widely viewed under the whole hip hop thing and like influence in hip hop culture, which makes me think like having artists like that come through and be influential in hip hop culture. You were saying like your little sister listens to mumble rap,
'cause she's
stuff
in
like that.
right now,
So if that's the case, like doesn't it show that like we're sort of turning a blind eye to the misogyny and that facet of hip hop?
I do agree.
And
I
it's
think
like,
that's
doesn't that mean it's not get like for every good thing that happens, we're like we're celebrating more
do you know
females
what?
and things. It's like I'm always thinking about that
That's
because
so
I'm thinking
true.
like some of these songs are hard, but like my man beats up his girlfriend. Like I don't know if I should be listening to this. You know what I'm saying? Like
It's
like,
true.
But bearing in mind, like there is much more, the fact that they're like coming up and they've got all these like proper domestic violence, like abuse.
it's mad.
It's
They've
like
got
not
cases.
even,
And
not
they're
even
all
like.
they're all like 16. It's like, bro, what?
What's wrong for you,
It's
Liz?
bad.
It's all mad. It's all mad.
But like, I think the fact that we know about them more and more people are going to be like less accepting of them now is like it might be a minor step, but it's one step that people are like.
Some people are not less accepting though. Like you get people who are like, no, I just won't listen to it, and then you get a lot of people who are like, I'm going to separate. I'm going to separate the music from the personal life, and people.
But then you can't, because that's
ages.
literally what they rap about. Sometimes you're like.
Would they rap about the? Sorry, I missed the point.
Well, people like rap about being like.
Yeah. They do rap about it.
I know, like to be fair, like only time will tell in some way, because like mumble rap in itself is like just coming up right now, so they're all like.
I'm hoping
I said it's outfit.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
Maybe we need women mumble rappers to like.
I'm hoping the whole mumble rap thing just fades because I can't lie. Like I like some of the songs and stuff, and it's good to be like. Sometimes it's good to just listen to some ignorant music and just bang your head, but like, I just think it's a dangerous thing because it's like you start when you start like championing these kind of artists and start you almost start glorifying their music, and then you start like young fans, impressionable fans will start glorifying the way they deal with like the way they approach certain issues. So the issue of domestic violence or stuff, they'll be like they'll happily say something like, oh yeah, I slapped that hoe or something like that, and they'll be like, oh yeah, that's cool. Before you know it, you've got like a whole bunch of 16-year-olds that think it's cool to like hit girls and stuff.
Wait, but like we shouldn't generalize the whole of mumble rap. Like mumble rap is not a
bro. Do you know how many
abuse?
it's
not domestic abuse rap.
I think it's mad.
It's easy as a mumble rapper.
Maybe not easy, but maybe not all mumble rap. Bro, I'm saying XXX Tentacion, Kodak, all of these guys, they've all got cases and stuff, and it's.
Don't get twisted. I'll be bumping my head to a couple of them. Yeah, of course. But no, we can't put them all.
You can't put them all under that one umbrella.
Fine.
Domestic violence.
Okay, fine. Yeah, that is true. That's true. Yeah. Maybe not. Maybe I was jumping the gun to put them all under that.
Black Memo, by the way, today.
Sorry.
Oh gosh, I was trying to think. I can't remember his name, and it's really bad. Like his name has completely left my head. Like he was like sensation in hip hop, and about 2 years ago, got done for was it child abuse?
Bobby Schmurder. Is it talking about Bobby Schmurder?
No.
Got done for child abuse.
No, another one.
Yeah.
Kodak.
He didn't get done for child abuse, though. But
Kodak beat the case though, but he beat that one. Take it.
Oh gosh, I'm trying to find. I can't remember his name, but I'm gonna find it as we're looking through it. Anyway, he's like a sensation in hip hop. My head's gone blank. And he got found out about it, and there was like people saying that he's done certain things from back in the day, and everyone's like, "Oh, you can't take away from what he's done for hip hop. You need to leave that stuff behind." He was building that while doing that. Do you know what I mean? He was building his brand while doing all of the things that he was doing.
Oh, so I heard about this as well.
You know
what's the guy? What's
his
his
name? Let's not say their names until we figure it out.
Yeah. Cut that out, bro. Cut that out.
No, he's American.
I think I know
Do
who
you
you're
know
talking about.
what
The
I'm
name has escaped me as well. But I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, so when that came out, I was looking at all of like what people's reactions towards it. They was just like, oh, like the amount of things that he's brought into hip hop. He's got a beard. It's coming to me as I'm talking. And everyone's like, no, he does hip hop. What he does for hip hop doesn't affect, like what he's done outside of hip hop doesn't affect what he's brought to us in hip hop. And I was just like, mate, like it kind of does, like especially.
It's a bit like how people ignore the fact that R. Kelly's been kidnapping girls.
This is what I'm talking about.
People
what?
just ignore it.
He's literally got a
I can't really listen to Ignition anymore. That was a tune, Ignition remix, man.
When it comes on the club now, you're like, ooh.
I'm a bit like, ooh, I really like this part of the song. But
Anyway, let's switch
do
back
that
to women
silent bot,
instead of
like-
talking about male rappers with child abuse.
another thing on your list of topics was, you said women in hip hop often unfairly get thrown into the genre of R&B, which is
Yeah.
seen as more feminine. So
Yeah. So this is something that I feel like I've noticed. Like if you think about even if you think about like IMDb, for example, like a lot of her tracks.
Oh, happy birthday, DDB. That's babe.
Yes, happy birthday.
That's babe.
Happy birthday.
Anyway,
Like if you look at like No Name and just like people who have like kind of hip hop but it's a bit more like songy or a bit more soul-y or
More
like they
melodic
might
and
sing rap
stuff.
or something, they're more likely to be seen as like R&B than, or like just to be kind of like grouped into that that genre. Whereas male rappers, if you look at someone like Drake, who a lot of his music is
melodic singing,
quite melodic,
Yeah.
like no one would really, they'd still call it class him as hip hop. And I just think that like
there is a
Taylor,
distinction there.
thoughts?
That's true.
Yeah, no, because like when going into that point of like, that's how I felt with, because I love Erykah Badu.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
like a lot of things, if you really listen to like a lot of her albums, like, and even the albums that she's done with Outkast, like people don't realise how much she's like influenced hip hop with her,
No,
with
she
her
has.
style and everything like that. Everyone thinks, oh no, she's soulful, and she's like, and it's like, nah, there's like so much more that she does. And
Wait,
like,
would you
so
put
much
her
more she
under hip hop though, as a hip hop
Certain
artist?
things,
Because I still think of her as a neo soul artist.
yeah, neo soul, but
This
if
is the
you
thing,
listen
isn't
to
it?
like
Like-
even like from Liberation, like Outkast song Liberation, listen to her part in that and her whole little what she's like, she's sick. Like I do class her as that, but she still gets thrown under that completely. So like if you spoke to anyone about hip hop, and if I ever tried to bring up like Erykah Badu, like oh what she's done, but it's like no, she's not a part of that. It's like no, she kind of is. Like I feel like she
Yeah.
does.
Maybe it's because she doesn't spit on a regular. Yeah.
But then
She
that's,
sings
I mean,
more-
that's a
more than
whole
she
other
spits,
thing,
like-
which is like a lot of people class hip hop as rap over beat.
Yeah.
Whereas in reality, like it's more than that. Like it doesn't have to just be rap. Like if you think back to like when it was all starting back in like the early 80s in like New York, and like disco beats and like funk, like it was all about the beat. It wasn't about
What they were
like,
doing on the
spitting,
mic.
really. It wasn't
Yeah,
about
started
MCing.
without lyrics. Really.
So, and there's still like a divide in like old school hip hop where is it
they're
about
probably
the rap
stuck
or
in
is
the
it
back.
about the beat? So if you think about that, and then like a load of like women who class as like neo soul or like
But then
soul
there's that.
or,
Do we just leave then we can just have the mumble rappers just doing their
yeah,
thing
mumble
then
rappers
at the
aren't
same
even
time.
rapping and they get
Yeah,
cool
they
rappers.
get
cool hip-hop.
They
Yeah,
could get cool
yeah,
hip hop.
yeah.
So
But
I
they
mean, like
can't-
to
they
take
can't sing
it
either,
far,
like-
to take it even more far, like if you think about someone like Georgia Smith, who I wouldn't class as hip hop,
Yeah.
but if you listen to like Blue Lights, like the
She
way
spits
she
at the
sings
point,
on it,
yeah.
it's kind of it's got a hip hop, like it's got a beat, she kind of sings bits on it.
Yeah.
So it's like,
She's
well,
she
would
could have
you?
bars to an extent.
Yeah,
To an
exactly.
extent.
To an extent, yeah. There's because we went to like her show and there was
She
one
started
song where
borrowing.
she was
She started
rapping.
borrowing.
Was she?
So-
I was like, yes,
Don't.
my babes.
Yeah, yeah.
Going in.
I love her.
Unreleased. She saved that just for us. Man. Yeah, I think you definitely have a good point, especially with the like comparison to Drake, because like I'm thinking if somebody came up doing what Drake did on the come up, like singing and rapping, and sorry, if a girl came up doing that, then she would just be put under
Exactly. That's the
R&B.
thing. Like if a guy raps, like because Drake doesn't rap a lot anymore. Like he does, but like if you think about his hits,
Yeah, his hits are not rap.
They're not rap,
But he
like-
has come out and said that like my hits are pop songs, and I don't know why they're not. Like, why
Yeah.
am I always put in the rap categories when I'm making pop hits? He has come out and said that. So even he's agreeing with the point. Yeah.
Yeah,
He said that, but he said that about One Dance at
He
the
said that
time.
about One Dance, like they don't know where to place me.
Yeah,
he said that
true.
about Hotline Bling as well. Like,
Yeah,
why
those
they giving- why they
two
putting me
those
out
two
as
on.
a rap.
Yeah.
But in general,
Okay,
like a lot of his tunes, they're not.
Hotline
He's
Bling reminded me
rapping.
of something. So, okay, someone like Rihanna, for example,
Mm.
like she spits on some of her songs,
Yeah.
Mm.
but she's never classed
Never
as a hip hop
classed,
artist.
yeah.
Would you
ever.
put Rihanna as a hip hop artist?
Some of her songs, yeah. Bitch better have my money, yeah. it's
yeah,
hip-hop.
yeah. But I mean, I think maybe it's because on her like the first few albums she did,
Yeah,
she
she
didn't
was
she didn't
pop
spit for a
princess
while.
for
Yeah,
ages.
she was
Like-
she was going for the pop kind
Yeah,
of.
but she's not
R&B.
anymore. But she's still
Yeah,
classed
it's
as
true,
that.
it's
like-
true. And even
I think-
Beyonce was spitting on
Whereas
the
I
last.
think people were a lot more willing to like accept, like for example, when Snoop Dogg came out, Snoop Lion, and everyone was like, "Oh yeah, he's making a reggae app. That's cool." Like
right, a gospel.
he was on.
taking
I
all
think he
risks.
would have been coronation. Was he in
He's on
coronation
the
Street once?
strongest
He was
weed
in Coronation
of.
Street. He's
He's on the
always never
strongest
fails
weed
to
of all
surprise.
time.
I would say that Lauryn Hill is a big example of that as well.
Oh
Like,
my
Yeah.
like Lauryn Hill is constantly being classed as R&B.
Which
Like-
is not like.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, she's got R&B songs.
Yeah, she does.
I would class her first and foremost.
Yeah, no, I class her as hip hop. I
Oh
class her as
gosh,
hip hop.
100%.
Yeah.
Like if no, 100%.
She's a hip-hop
with what
legend,
she- Yeah,
through and through.
through Jesus.
Daniel just
100%.
brought up. So Tory Lanez, you see the way he's classed like immediately as hip hop, but his
Nah.
early song, like "Say It," was his biggest hit, or his first
Yeah.
hit, sorry, and he was singing on that song. But no
Yeah.
one said, "Oh, he's an R&B artist."
Exactly.
Like,
Like
he
that's what I
spits
mean.
on some songs, he sings on some.
I
But
think he
they put
definitely
him
should
in.
be classed as R&B for me.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Tory
like, for
Lanez?
me personally.
Nah. He just dropped an album on Friday, and he's barring.
He's
so
rapping a lot now.
Oh,
so
Maybe it's because
yeah,
he feels like he has to fill the genre.
yeah,
for the
maybe,
shoes.
maybe.
But it's kind of what I said in the beginning. Like R&B is seen as a lot more like, and guys who do R&B are seen as a bit more like feelings and soulful, which is fine, absolutely cool, absolutely fine. But like it can be a point of contention in like hip hop, R&B, that kind of thing.
Mm.
Yeah, the distinction.
I kind of merge them into one anyway, hip hop and
Yeah.
R&B, because it's quite like, I feel like it's a spectrum rather than
Oh yeah, 100%.
rather than like, oh, I'm hip hop, I'm R&B. I feel like you
I think
fall
labels
somewhere
in
on the
general are a
spectrum.
bit shit because there's so many things sometimes that you want to do. Like even if you take it out of music and you do other stuff, it's like one of the things I hate the most is when people ask you like, what do you do? And you're like, well, I do many things. Like I'd like a lot of stuff. Like it's not just me. Like I'm
Yeah.
not consigned to this one thing. And I think that's the same with a lot of musicians where they can. I mean, take taking it completely out of hip hop, but like in music, if you think of like City in Colour and then Alexis on Fire, like what's his name? Something Green, the main guy from City in Colour. It's a city, Dallas Green, that's his name. Like he was in a band called Alexis on Fire and he did metal, and then he brought a side project called City in Colour, which is like all like singer-songwriter acoustic. And like people just want to experiment with different music, they want to do what they want, but then it's about everyone's like trying to class them into this thing, and it's like, is that really beneficial to us? Oh, silence.
do you know what? I'm just taking in what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. She said a lot.
Drop the deep boy. Should we play a song?
Well, out of mine.
Should we jump into the song and then discuss it off air and then try and come in? What song should we play?
Do you know what? Play
Yeah.
IMDb because it's her birthday.
IMDb because it's her birthday.
Oh
Alright,
wait,
I'll play
there's one song I
Leaned
definitely need to play tonight. Tonight, you know. Today.
Alright, we'll jump into Leaned Out IMDb. Daniel, stop talking, please. Alright, we're on there.
I like that point that you.
So yeah, that was still playing there. That was Leaned Out IMDb and Inca. Happy birthday to IMDb. That's babes. Anyway, yeah, we're having an interesting discussion off air. Daniel decided to jump on. He's got a bit of extra sauce to drop in. What were you trying to say?
Bring the
Spill the
knowledge,
tea.
Daniel.
Oh, right now he's silent. No joking, bro.
Bring the
So
knowledge.
I was speaking about the whole argument about hip hop and what really. I was just basically trying to throw in an extra dynamic of what really is hip hop right now, because we were talking about how in the sort of onset of the genre it was mostly about the beat and you just did whatever with that. But then now I think it's gotten so versatile as an art form that people kind of just sample anything and you can rap on that. So it's like,
Yeah.
what really is a hip hop beat? Because I feel like with some hip hop songs, if you just took away the lyrics and just played some on the beat, be like, I don't know, what's that song?
Yeah.
Is
Like
that
jazz.
funk?
Yeah.
It's like, what is that?
But even if you take away the chorus as well, like there's some songs like that really bang with just straight verses going in.
Yeah.
And then if you took away the beat and the chorus, or what have you really got? Like if you really was listening to what
Yeah.
There's too many artists now that rely on the beat. I mean, this isn't to do with misogyny in hip hop or anything. This is a side thing, but there's too many artists now that like what they're spitting is just nonsense. But like when you put a beat on it, then you're like, yo, this kind of knocks. But then you realize that it's the beat.
Well, yeah, there's that argument in general between like flow and lyricism. Like some people have like a sick flow, but if you actually dissect what they're saying, you're like, is it good though? Like, is it good?
Yeah.
So I was basically trying to say that I think the whole labeling thing is kind of outdated because it's not really binary anymore. Like back when there was NWA and stuff, like you rapped or you sang, because to sing you actually had to have a good voice.
Yeah.
That wasn't really auto-tune.
Now we got auto-tune.
I'm actually like, I rate Drake here, but I don't like the fact that he's just got everybody gassed to sing. Some of you can't sing, just don't do it. I'm tired of hearing people that can't sing singing on all their tracks.
There's like almost like pressure on rappers now to also try and like do
and sing.
Well, I mean, in the UK, it's like the whole parallel with like everyone's trying to do a bit of Afro swing on the side, even if it's not really some Afro swing on the side.
Right now, like the beats are like completely
to
like
what the masses kind of want to hear right now, and it's like
yeah,
I feel like it's good that it's becoming more versatile, but then at the same time, I think people are starting to compromise on what they can actually do and like try and stretch themselves to places they really shouldn't.
You shouldn't be there. You don't belong here.
But yeah, I was just basically trying to say that I think labeling things is like, I don't think there's sort of I don't think we can just generally classify things as like this is just plain straight hip hop anymore, because you're barely gonna hear any albums where it's just someone going in straight verses, no singing the whole album.
Yeah,
like I feel like people's tastes have also changed. Like no one wants to listen to just
bars.
Imagine someone
just
has
bars.
no singing,
just
no choruses.
lyrics.
Just straight lyrics for a whole album. I'm not listening.
Even I'm tired.
It's
Yeah,
tiring.
It's tiring, and especially because you have to concentrate and hear the bars. It's like I've got a short attention span already, man. Yeah, it's stressful in your ears.
You need you to like
you get the stress free.
Close your palate kind of thing.
When that song came out and everyone's like, oh my gosh, it's so sick on social media, so I went on it to go look.
Which song is it?
And I was
Sorry, I
just
missed
like,
that.
You know, like Walk It Talk It.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
repeating himself so many times.
But it's Migos, that's what they do. I don't get, like I love that, man. I love that song. But yeah, it's true. When you print the lyrics, apparently like it's a page of just walk it like I talk it.
Exactly. Imagine that if you actually looked at the lyrics on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
I'd love him to do one of those Genius videos where he goes to the lyrics,
and
it's literally like a minute long.
So I walk like I talk.
It means that he's
So I walk it like I talk.
I'm still doing
Still walking it. Still walking it.
But then
that's consistency.
Yeah, it is.
Bringing it back to women.
Back to the topic at hand. I feel like this always happens. We have a topic to discuss, and we always end up chatting there. But anyway, the last thing you had on your list of topics was that girls get a bad rep for being difficult, and you brought up the example of Azealia Banks. So, do you want to speak more on that?
I saw this. I wanted to hear what you had to say about this actually. About
Yeah. Right. So.
I wasn't sure I agreed with the point about about Azealia.
Right, that is it's like it's a difficult topic.
Anyway, let's you say what you had to say first, and then
right. So I mean, I know we talked earlier about like Rick Ross got dropped because of some of the shit he said, and Azealia Banks she's done some bad shit like in the past, but I mean, if you think about some of the other shit that what we were talking about before, like all the mumble rappers who've literally got domestic abuses and they just get away with shit, and then she does like a couple of things and everyone's like, oh, she needs to, like, they won't give her the time of day.
She's just up on people for no reason though. Like
she does,
she's a bit
for no reason.
Yeah.
Like,
I think
she says some
got
racist stuff as well.
That's what I'm saying. So
the one that I was like, wait,
and like some other
what's going on?
Usually is quite uncalled for.
Yeah,
the Zayn thing was way uncalled for.
She's on a
and then she had to apologise because she realised, because I think it wasn't even complete misunderstanding. It wasn't really,
and she started saying some stuff about my neck as well, like some homophobic stuff.
MNEK.
I said I said it
I remember when Stilsy first dropped Blinded by Your Grace and he was like, have you heard that tune with my neck? But yeah, no, I do think in general, not just in music, just in like the sort of performing industry in general, so like actors as well, and people like that, the women always get a bad rep for being difficult. Like, look at what happened with Monique and the Netflix
Crime.
thing.
She got offered,
people
how much she
came
got offered,
all coming like
500k.
yeah, she
was
got offered
disrespectful.
500.
It was like
Yeah,
completely
it's from
disrespectful.
the contract as well. Like,
but not just from the contract. It's like people trying to make excuses for Netflix. They're like, oh, Monique is notoriously difficult to work with.
Yeah.
Then when she tried to break it down and say,
I bet men are
what
just
she-
as difficult to. I bet 90% of hip hop artists, musicians, actors who are men are probably just as difficult to work with.
Yeah.
Definitely.
No,
That,
and it's-
or
it's like-
even
it's
more so.
like
I mean,
they're saying,
did you
they're
not hear
saying
that
she's
Christian Bale
difficult.
thing when he was like, I had to go at the sound technician for about 10 minutes, just like shouting at him for getting a boom in his face.
100% men are just as difficult. Like
100%. It's just women just get a bad rep for it. Like,
No, and when you break it down, because they were saying she's difficult because on one movie, they they have to do promo for the film. They have to fly out to places. So the director was like, "Oh, we're going to Australia to do some promo for the film," and she's not contractually obligated to do that. So she said, "Oh, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to spend some time with my family." And then she got like that's where the rep for being difficult sort of stemmed from, because she decided to not fly out to these places. And she was on what's that show that Whoopi Goldberg does? I think it's called The Voice or something. Or The View, or something like that. Yeah, something like that.
oh, like
Yeah.
the
It's like a
American
talk show,
chat
yeah,
show.
American chat show, and then Whoopi Goldberg's there, and Whoopi was there, like, telling her, "Oh, you like." It's almost like she's been brainwashed by it, because she was saying like, "Oh, when you make a film, you promo the film," and she was saying like, "Well, it's not in my contract that I have to promo it, so I'm not being difficult in not promoting the film. I'm just exercising my contractual right to refuse to do it, so I can spend some time with my family." And this sort of narrative of her being difficult sort of came, and she's was bringing race into it as well, because she was saying, "Look, I'm a fat black woman, and so they already don't like me, and they're trying to see any way to basically shake me effectively." That's what she was trying to say.
I think I see her point completely, where she's coming from with that is I see where she's coming from completely with that, where I feel like she went about it the wrong way with the Netflix one. I feel like she could have definitely negotiated and tried to like turn that around, but with the whole backlash with them talking about her being difficult on set and not doing, I think it's complete bullshit. Like, if I'm gonna do what's by my contract, I'm allowed to do whatever. Do you know whatever I'm allowed to do legally, whatever I'm gonna do. And I feel like you do get
Taylor's
that a lot as a female,
lawyer, by the way.
and just being a black female as well. Oh no, straight away she's angry, like she's just
Yeah,
automatically angry,
exactly.
she don't want to do this, she's got an attitude, la la la, and just like, so that doesn't help the situation she's in right now. Everyone bringing up past situations, which probably wasn't even that difficult, just her just saying, no, I don't actually really want to do that, and now bringing it up to her now.
It's just they've put this image on her now that has caused
Yeah.
that.
I think she's just wild to try and tell us to boycott Netflix, because that's not
That
happening.
was-
Yeah, no one's
If she
gonna-
had-
that was a
if she
bit-
had-
that was a
if she
bit
got
far.
all the way, like everything she did was fine, and then when she said boycott Netflix, I was like, oh,
Yeah, why did she do
no.
that?
Step too far.
And then
Step
showing
too
the
far, innit?
contract,
You know what I'm saying?
she should have definitely kept that under wraps, because she could have just negotiated or
I think she's
got
not
legal
interested
help.
in working with them. So
no, but legal
then-
help, like putting that out there, if you want to take that to court, it's going to be a whole different story now,
Oh, really?
because the whole
Oh,
world
fine.
knows about it. So I feel like she could have gone about that a different way for that part, but them adding on the whole everything from the past and everyone getting on her, it just automatically now she just looks like a straight up angry black woman that no one can't work with and never can get onto another show.
I think she's turning around doing this. It's almost like a press run where she's going on these different talk shows and interviews to explain her point of view. I think she's sort of turning around, because when I initially heard the story, basically I was sort of thrown by the whole boycott Netflix thing. So I was already like
Had your back
predisposed
up,
to thinking
yeah.
like, man, she's crazy. And then I read it and I was just like, I just sort of disregarded it. Then I saw she was doing these interviews about it, and then I read more about it, and I read about the like Amy Schumer contract that
that
Amy Schumer was offered like
it's just like 10 mil, wasn't it?
12 mil, and she turned it down. They came back and offered her more. So it's like when Amy Schumer did it, it's like championing her for knowing her worth or whatever. When Monique does it, it's like just be quiet. We don't like you.
Yeah,
don't
because
deserve
I
this.
actually
You're
think
difficult.
it was a really good thing what she did, like as in she spoke about it and showed it, because I think personally that there needs to be more like transparency with shit like that, because otherwise you just
How
They
about if
just
she
go into, like-
tried to sort it, see if she could negotiate it first and then come out with it, or maybe she did. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
I don't know
Like,
if
we
she
don't
tried to
know.
renegotiate, but I think she probably saw the thing. She was like, "There's no point trying to
That's fair, yeah,
renegotiate,"
true.
because they offered.
500K.
Well, to be fair, 500,000.
Like, not even
compared
mil.
to 12.
Yeah. And they offered
And that's
12
and,
mil.
and
I mean, it's
apparently
Dave Chappelle,
apparently
he
like
got 50.
she's only allowed
He got 50
if she accepted.
Mil.
He got 50 mil.
Oh yeah, Dave Chappelle. But then apparently if she accepted the deal, that means she can't do any comedy shows specials on any other network for 3 years. So it's like it's almost limiting what she can do as well for just 500K.
Yeah, which if
it's
you're
not-
offering someone 500 mil, sorry, that went a bit too far.
500 mil.
if you offer someone 50 mil and you're not allowed to do for 3 years, then you're like, yeah, cool, don't worry, I'm good. Whereas if you offer someone 500K
Yeah.
and you're just like, oh, and you can't work for 3 years, it's bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that. When it was looking at the rest of the contracts, like the whole.
She can't work with you.
No, so if on the contract it's like it's a Netflix comedy special, so then for 3 years she can't release any comedy specials on any other networks. So that's what Dave Chappelle's thing is. So if Dave Chappelle does a comedy special in the next 3 years, it has to be released on Netflix. If he wants to do it on something else, then in 3 years, then he can drop it on VH1 or whatever. But that's what the contract states. So then for 500K, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Like that's
it's
basically
not
what-
worth it at all because you're not going to be making any money off of that for the next 3. Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Even though that's a normal part, because a lot of people was like, "Oh gosh, that's not even fair that she's not allowed." So no, that's quite normal to have that. But no, you're right. Looking at it from that point of view as well.
But yeah,
not
it's
enough
true.
money.
It's like it's just bringing it back to music and everything in general. Like it is true what you said that like female artists get put under this whole they're difficult to work with kind of thing, which just isn't true. So.
It might be musicians are difficult to work with.
I'm
That's
sure
just
some
like
of them are, but like men are also difficult. Like,
Yeah,
remember
so
that
I know when I
Frank
said
Ocean-
not difficult, more difficult to work with than
men.
Wait, what did you say?
that Frank Ocean thing that
Oh,
Nathan told us
yeah,
about how he
one of our guys
wanted
came
the
on.
Nando's at like Park Life or something,
Yeah.
and he told everyone that they had to leave. Like
He told them to
backstage.
leave the performance
No,
area.
you
He's
see
like, I
that?
don't want anyone,
Well,
I
my
don't want
mate-
anyone watching me eat my Nando's.
my mate's a photographer and he photographed Liam Gallagher
Yeah.
like a couple of months ago, and he wasn't allowed any assistance or anything because Liam wanted it to be completely closed set, so he had to like set everything up and stuff. Like he said, it was a great it says Liam's a cool guy, whatever, but you know, that's just one thing. Like imagine if a woman did that, like
Yeah,
everyone would be like,
they'd be like,
oh,
oh.
she's so difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, should we talk about some sick female MCs?
Oh yeah, we can close out the show with discussion
I
about
just
like.
wanted to ask a quick question.
Oh, yeah, sure.
This is like probably me not being up to date, but has Young Ma dropped like any recent music?
Young
She's
M.A.
like, I haven't
She
heard
did
from her.
She's dropping
Wow.
she did a
something soon,
freestyle.
right?
I saw a freestyle on YouTube. And that's it.
She's got something coming out.
Has she?
I think so.
I'm not
I was literally looking at her today, and I swear I read that she's got something coming out. I might be
Okay.
wrong, but this might have to be a fact check. But
Is it in the
I don't know.
state?
Still the same flow.
Still the same.
that flow's been successful for her, man.
Yeah.
I think that's like a funny point. Like who? It's just strange in hip hop how some people like gigs can never change their flow and it still works, but then some people it just starts to get a bit like,
boring, yeah.
Like Lady Leisha, she's been dropping that same flow.
yeah, but she's
And
sick
like,
though.
no, her bars are sick. Like her bars are still popping off. Like, but then
It's
just
true,
Like,
it's
I
quite
feel like I'm just
repetitive.
listening to one very long song.
No, but
that's,
then,
like, been cut.
but then,
The
yeah,
Queen's
but like
Speech
Queen's
ones-
Speech is basically one very
the
long
Queen's
song
Speech
because
ones,
it's
but-
like
but-
7.
It's true. I get bored of the Queen's Speech ones now. But
Do
her
you?
other
Yeah,
stuff.
that's
The,
what
oh, what's
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
but now
It's
she's
getting
now
long.
she's started doing like
She
other
did-
freestyles.
I
Now she's
listened to
doing
them, she
Unleashed.
did, New
Like so,
Freezer.
she did the Humble remix.
Yeah, she did a
which
remix
was
of New Freezer as well,
pretty
and
sick.
like,
See, yeah,
so I
that was
like her
different
songs,
addition
but
to see her.
I don't like the Queen's Speech ones anymore because
Yeah.
like
It's
I think
not
after it might have been like 5 or 6.
No,
I
that
was
was
just
the
like,
third.
No, like
I'm getting
after
bored.
4 is good.
Four is
Four is
good.
good.
Four's
Four is
the
good.
four's the
No, after the
Brashelty.
third, because it was just like the same. For me, after the third one, I was just like, no.
I don't know,
And
but
then
I'm-
the other
I
day
really
when she
like-
came out with something. I was just like, oh, okay, something different,
Yeah.
a different flow. So I was on it.
Bang, 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 bang.
No, I like.
It's interesting to bring up Lady Leisha because she came out and said that when she was trying to get a record deal, they were trying to tell her to they were trying to pit her against Nicki Minaj. I
Yeah.
think, was it Atlantic? Or,
I think so. They took it to the States.
yeah, they took it to the States. She was getting ready to sign everything. She said like she cried over it. She was like, "This is like could be like my big break, but they're trying to get me to do something I don't want to do because I don't want to go against Nicki Minaj. I just want to make music and stuff."
Exactly.
You look like that,
No,
that
like what
negativity
guy?
there.
What guy would ever be offered a contract based on that? Like, really?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Like,
imagine
oh,
starting
like
off
you
and
could be
you're
a
like, you need to
rapper,
go for Drake.
but you have to be. Yeah.
Just sitting there like, "Oh man."
But really,
I know
it'll be
you're
like.
like, but you
I
need
just
to go
got it.
for
Well,
Drake.
if it was a man, they'll probably just make jokes like, "Oh, you're gonna get Drake on your track," rather than. That's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying about
Yeah,
the whole
exactly.
negativity. That's what I'm saying. Like competition is cool, but when it's brought into like a negative kind of
It
vibe,
becomes
then it just
toxic,
messes up the
yeah.
whole thing. We're just like defeating the whole purpose of bringing more girls into the game or making more girls be recognised in the game. Like we're defeating the whole purpose when it's a negative competition between them.
Yeah.
We need
Yeah, it
to
becomes
we need
toxic,
to have
right.
that same healthy competition that men in the industry have. That's what women need.
Yeah,
That's what
exactly.
we need, so you can uplift each other. Because if we are able to uplift each other, do you know how many more people will be exposed and like more
Exactly.
people would, like find out about female MCs?
Well,
and
it's like if you take it at a basic level, it's like it's about seeing people who represent you in music, isn't
Yeah.
it? So if you might want to be an MC, but if there's no women in music that you can really aspire to,
Yeah.
then you're a bit like, oh, like, why can I do that?
Yeah.
Do you guys feel, because I've sort of always felt this way, that the UK is a bit better when it comes to
Representation.
of women in music?
Yeah,
that-
yeah.
you don't get
definitely.
the
Yeah, to a
whole,
large
this
extent,
whole
yeah.
like rivalry between like
Definitely.
artists in America. You don't really get that. You don't hear really people going against girls going against each other. Or this one said this
Well,
one,
unless
this one
you
said
listen to Blackpool Grime, you listen to like So Masculine and Millie B.
this. I'm trying to do.
If they
Haven't
combined,
delved
if
that
they
far.
combined,
We got that far in it.
I feel
So-
like was it Vice?
yeah, Noisy
or
did
something?
Noisy did a thing
yeah,
about.
I
But
saw
if you
it, I
watch
saw it. It
like
was so
Millie
good.
B and So Masculine going at each other, they're like 15. It's
Yeah.
it's actually quite jokes to listen to. But
I'm doing kids.
but you know, they're like quite like on the top of their game in terms of Blackpool Grime. They spit pretty sick bars. But they keep going at each other's throats. I'm like, if they just united against these fuckboys, like they could be a team to be reckoned with, you know.
A team to be reckoned with.
But you know, I think you're right that the UK does a lot better than.
The US.
To be honest, I like
There's
the
some
direction
sick-
UK
like,
music's
when
going
I was
in
giving
a
you
lot
a
more
list
than
as
America.
well.
Sorry.
When I was giving you a list of like MCs, most of them, and when I first wrote it, was like UK based,
UK, yeah.
and I was trying to think of more American
Yeah.
like
People
girls who
to
were actually
put
killing
on,
it because
yeah.
I was like,
Should we get into that
Rhapsody.
discussion of the like? You said you were gonna just bring up some dope female MCs that you were
yeah.
to shout them
So, well, one we were just talking about it. Were we talking about it off air? Yeah, we were like Floyo. Is that how you say her name? I don't know, but she's
I thought it was Flo Hio. I was like-
Floyo.
No,
Floyo.
that's how I didn't even say anything. But you
Yeah,
just
but like
said
you
the
know,
name.
you never
maybe
hear someone
she's
say their
from
name.
Ohio. I didn't know. What
South
was,
London baby. She's a South London baby.
yeah.
But yeah, she's absolutely sick. There's a girl from Brighton that I've heard recently called Phonetic. She's sick. Who else? Like, well,
And Blimey Brixton was going to be
Blimey
doing
Brixton,
a
she's
show
American.
at,
Yeah, she's
I know it's
coming-
gonna be,
to Dalston.
but they're going to be coming to Dalston to do their show. But they're because there's like all different vibes. I feel like now, like you're saying, like there's all different vibes for hip hop and everything. So I'm
Yeah.
like very much old school, and that's what they bring for me.
Yeah, they've got a really old school West Coast
yeah.
vibe
Yeah,
about
they
them.
do. It's like proper
Come
sick,
Correct.
Like, Come Correct is a song.
Yeah,
Well, let's lead
played
out
it
on that.
underneath the-
Yeah.
Oh yeah, guys, you can check out the episode playlist. We got all the songs that we're talking about. It's all going to be on the playlist.
But like
man,
Little Sims
yeah.
for me is like
Yeah,
top.
yeah, Little Sims.
Absolutely
I recently got
love
into
Little
her.
Sims.
She's
Like her
sick.
bars, her flow, like
Yeah.
the whole Stillness and Wonderland album as an album is just incredible. Like if you listen to it start to finish, like it's just a whole concept. And concept albums is what like that. I love a good concept album.
Same.
Like that's what you want.
Same.
And she is like, I think she rivals like most of the men in the game, but like she never gets compared to men. Like that's the problem.
yeah.
Like people are like so quick to just be like, oh, she's a female MC, whereas we need to be like comparing each other, like everyone against
Everyone
everyone.
equally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whoever's the sickest, really.
Right, who else? Who else is good at the moment?
I found someone.
I'm a big fan of No Name and
Oh,
Rhapsody.
I love No
No
Name.
Name is great.
No,
Rhapsody's
no Name's
great.
probably she might be my favorite.
Angel Hayes
like,
as well.
coming up.
She's
Sorry?
sick. Angel Hayes.
I don't think I've heard.
I've heard of her, but I don't think I've heard.
She's good.
What
She's
was
good.
the one that I was playing the other day?
I don't know.
Some
I guess
random.
she's not like a full-time MC, but when she spits, she goes in Ray Black.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ray Black.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so
I'm
true.
with you
Because
on
I
that
class her as hip hop to a certain extent, but then she, you know, that's another one that we could have brought into that
one. I'm with you
discussion.
on that one.
But yeah, I think she's sick.
Also, Janelle Monáe just released a couple of tunes.
Yeah, Janelle Monáe's
that are
another
very
one. Another one of those girls.
Okay.
Yeah, and then obviously people like the standard like people that everybody knows about, so like Cardi B, Nicki Minaj and stuff like that. Like it's
Yeah.
good to champion them as well still, because like
Yeah, it's important.
I mean their music's still sick. Just because they're like quote unquote mainstream hip hop MCs and stuff, like we can still champion their stuff as well, because I'm a big fan of Cardi B, definitely.
I'm a big fan of Cardi B.
Nicki Minaj, I don't know, I don't like her pop
Princess
stuff,
Nokia
but I
as
feel like
well.
she's gonna come.
Rhapsody.
Oh yeah, she's hard.
Rhapsody, yeah.
She's hard. Rhapsody.
I feel like
Princess
lyrically
yeah,
she
Princess
goes
Nokia.
toe-to-toe with, like,
Yeah, she's
pretty much anyone.
yeah.
Yeah.
She's
That's what I love
talented.
to be
Rhapsody has bars for days.
unfaithful in the game. That's
Layla's
why I'm just,
Wisdom
I
as
feel
an
like
album
it
is-
shouldn't even be a thing of like a gender thing. Just like you go into the game, whatever. Like, oh, I'm going a hip hop artist,
Yeah.
rather not a hip hop female artist MC. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like it just needs to be the way how the lines are being blurred right now with hip hop, and anyone jumping on a beat is the same way the line should be blurred with. No matter if I'm a male or female, I can
Yeah.
do this, and I'm gonna be.
And
sick
hopefully
at
at
it.
one point, like we'll get to, hopefully as soon we'll get to the point where we won't have like our aim at Too Many Man is to not have to class people as female MCs. I want to get
Yeah.
like I don't want
Get it out.
I don't
Yeah.
want to be like have to clarify that, like, but the space is generally a platform for like championing female MCs, but then hopefully that we'll get to a point where it won't be gender focused, it won't be specific, it won't be
Trying to get
like,
them recognised.
oh, like she's a female this, female that, like same with like female comedian, female like actress, like
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just
that's
wanted
it.
to like drop like this is a brief
Bro,
list of
we
points.
don't have time.
We're nearly
Bro,
out of time.
we really don't have time. Fam. We
No,
got
no, I
like
remember
we've
Dead
legit
Note.
got like 1 minute. I was gonna wrap up.
Yeah, so like with her, like
Wrap
when
it
she
up
came
there.
out, how she had to get
Oh,
like
God.
more sexualized to get more like public appeal.
yeah.
Bro,
Just
you've
thought
already
that
out.
was
It's too
interesting.
late at the show, but you should have brought it up earlier because that's a good thing to discuss.
Dead Note.
Anyway, like
Right.
we've literally got like less than a minute left,
Oh.
so we want to thank you guys for coming on. It was
Thank
really
you for
great.
having us.
Hopefully,
Thank you.
we'll do
That was
another
almost
collab,
a
maybe
unisex.
a
Yeah.
wireless link up.
Oh yeah, do you know what?
just put it out there,
we
just
do
put it
that.
out there.
I already
let's
bought my
just
ticket
plan
back
some
and sell it. Fed top.
You'll have to come on our
You
on
have
our
to come.
show.
Have you got a ticket?
No, I don't
Like,
have
get
a
a ticket.
ticket.
You need to get a ticket. We don't need to go and.
To where?
see what we're
Wireless.
doing. Yeah.
Yeah, the wireless
We're
link up is
going
actually
to
happening.
wireless.
I'm
He's
gassed.
got to go.
Anyway, so thank you guys for listening. You can follow us at 2Gs in the pod _ on Twitter, at 2Gs in the pod on Instagram, at Too Many Man
Too Many Man Show.
at Too Many Man Show.
Yep,
on
and then
Instagram.
Twitter, Too Many Man Show, and then you can also find our website, toomanyman.com.
Cool. And we're
Also
gonna leave
find
it.
there's
Oh,
stickers all around London,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Oh yeah,
If
I
you
see
see
you guys
TMM
sticking the stickers.
we've
up.
got
That's
some
cool.
stickers for you,
That's
so
what
we'll give you some stickers.
We're gonna end it with "Do Up" by Lauryn Hill.
Yes.
Classic.
My G.
Yeah, my GG,